1988. Yeah, we had our girls, and we thought, well, let's just give it a try. Ended up about 25 years. Jan was done most of it because I was working full time, long hours. I'd come home from work some nights and there'd be different 2 or 3 kids here, and then come home the next night and there'd be other kids. Other times Jan would be in bed and the phone would ring and I'd just say yeah, and the kids would come, so it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and Jan would wake up and find out there's another kid running around the house. Our house was, most of the time was girls, because that's all we had, and so Jan stuck with the girls, so they'd share rooms with the new kids. 300 or 400. Actually, we've got 2 of them on, they just didn't go home, they're in permanent care. They've been here, what, 20 odd years?
Our youngest had just gone, well actually she was at home, and that was how we started, was there was an ad on telly for donations for children abroad. And then she turned to me and to ask what I thought about it, and I said I would rather look after the children myself, you know. And so our eldest daughter was friends with Sue, who was on the team at Upper Murray. So she got the information for us. We did our training in late 1991 and had our first placement in the January of 92, already waiting for us. It was a 13-year-old boy who came for 3 weeks and stayed for 6 months. But since then we've had numerous children straight from hospital to 17. I stopped counting after 300. We did a lot of respite. We had children rotating on either monthly or 3 weeks or 6 weeks, as it was at the time, so there was always someone there weekends. But what we enjoy most are those that are with us for a bit of time. I think you call it short term, but anything from we had a 15-year-old till he was 18. We had a family of 3 for 12 months, which was lovely. That was at the same time as 2 teenagers. So it was a full house then. But we've had all types. We've had some that have only stayed an hour. We had a young lass from Shepparton come in the middle of the night and she decided she wasn't staying.
It was way back in 1992 when we got accredited, which seems half a lifetime ago now. It was quite a detailed process, but one that we realised was important for the carer and also for the kids that we were looking at taking on. Over the next 22 years we ended up with some 95 kids that shared our home with us. Anything from 24 hours to 3 weeks till it goes through a court order. Normally it starts off a 3 week. We've had one baby that we got 12 days old who was withdrawing from heroin, and we looked after him for 12 months. And I've seen that young gentleman in more recent times, and he's a lovely young fellow living with his grandparents. Foster care was 22 years, but we had a keeper after that who, when he turned 18, he's now 23 and currently still living at home, so it never really ends.
We started caring when I was 53, 15 years ago. We just heard the ad on the ABC radio and they were desperate to have carers, and then as soon as I rang up to ask for the papers, I got contacted the next day. And all the stories sounded pretty good until the last 2 sessions when they told us the reality of what could happen if you had a child in your house and you locked the door. So we were all, on the way home, we all sort of freaked out. And then we were all very quiet on the way home. 4 weeks later they asked us, could we have this boy from Wangaratta. He was, I think he was 8 and he'd never been in care before, and he was desperate to have a holiday for a weekend. So we did all the things we're supposed to do. Stephen, our son, took him to the tip. I took him to the bakery where he ordered the whole menu, I think, Cost me an arm and a leg before we left. Took him fishing, did all the things, baking. I made some muffins, and when he left, I thought, this is hard work. I won't be able to keep this up. I think I've had 15 or 16. We've had them for weekends, permanent respite care once a month. We had a boy for 4 months because his parents were going through a divorce, and then we had a boy who had been in foster care since he was a very young child. Him and his brother and his sister, and I had him for a while before he went home to the mother, so they all went home. We got hung up after, about a year. We got hung up about a couple of babies. They got hung up about. So I've had him for, he's 13 this year, for nearly 13 years. So it's been very interesting, hard work. I've learned a lot about disability, met some amazing people through the foster care system.
Just very incidental things that I remember. We had a lovely little family of 4 boys, 2, 4, 6 and 8, and we had house rules like everybody else, and of course one of those is there's no fighting. Anyway, we were having lunch out on the veranda out at the farm, and as I walked out, I heard the 4-year-old, who was constantly kind of picked on by the older ones, and he said, "There's no fighting in this house, and there is no fighting outside this house either." So I thought, well, there you go. That was lovely. Yeah, seeing the little ones, come frightened and turn into smiles and happy little kids is very rewarding.
The nice people, or a lot of his workers that he's had, I think I've had 8 or 9 foster care workers that were in charge of him. Every time one of them left, we were really gutted, and sometimes we even rang up the head to say, can't you offer them more money to stay?
Seeing the kids not only develop, live as normal as possible lives, but to actually see them thrive later on really does give you a warm fuzzy.
We got to meet a lot of kids that we would not ever have met. We still see a lot of them. We've made a lot of friends over the years. This is how I met Noel, and after a while we sort of, he'd be here for a cuppa and that sort of thing, and we started going fishing, and we had many a fishing trip away, didn't we?
Yeah, it's actually, a lot of the time it ends up more than just foster carers getting together. It does form friendships that last forever.
I have messages from in particular, a young mother now in Deniliquin, who lived with us for a couple of years, 2.5 years, and she keeps in touch through Facebook, and she has verbalised that has changed her life, that she knows how to parent properly, she says. So that's really a compliment, and she has 2 lovely daughters of her own, but she thinks that she wouldn't have been able to do that had she not been in care with us. Yeah.
We had a kid that was in hospital, preemie baby. Jan got the phone call. We had to go to the hospital every day and try and learn to feed her. Jan was doing that. And then we brought her home, and it all sort of clicked for her. And she started feeding, and she was here for 2 years. If I wanted to go out without her, I had to put my hat up, my shirt, because if she seen me with my hat on, it was walk time. She went through permanent care. We've still got contact. She's always, every time we see her, I've got to get down on my knees and she's got to go over my head.
When he looks at us, it's just like the sun shining. It's just a beautiful smile, and then he'll cuddle up to you and then he'll give you a kiss on the cheek. But when he looks at me, it's just pure love.
Had a really good support group. We used to meet for morning tea, and many a time it might be out at the farm. At our place, and you know, we'd have a morning tea, and as I say, you know, be able to spin around and debrief, and you know, walk out refreshed again.
If it hadn't been for the tight group and the professionals plus his doctor that sort of came around us, I would never have managed it, because I've got really good support. If you don't have support, you can't do high needs foster care. You really can't. Something I would never have thought I was going to do. I thought I'd just play the goody-goody and do a bit of, you know, community work. I never thought I'd have a disabled child. But now, you really can deal with anything if you put your mind to it, and if you think about the child, how the child might feel. I'm committed. And you have to, if something goes wrong and you think, I don't think I can go on with this. Look, when you go to bed and you wake up in the morning and start another day, it's totally different. You can't go into foster care unless you're committed, because a child can't be moved from here, there and everywhere. Foster care should be a safe haven for them.
Foster care, you're never alone. You've always got the support workers who have been, in our case, fantastic, because you're always coming up against new issues, new scenarios, but your support workers are always there to help. And don't forget your group of co-foster carers, because they're all in it for the same reasons you are. Even though foster care is not beer and skittles, what I mean by that is it's bloody hard work at times. The positives well and truly outweigh the negatives. It comes back tenfold in the end.